Hi and welcome to Just to Filmy. I am Rotox and this is our brand new segment that's called Rotox Recommends. In this segment, of course, I get to recommend movies that I personally love, and I do hope that after watching this video, you will discover this film for yourself and then come back and tell us what you think. Let's go. The film that we're going to talk about today is Sean Baker's Anora, the film that won big at the Oscars this year, taking home 5 Oscars. And yes, they spent a bunch of money on the Oscars promotional campaign as much as to make the film. But what I realized was in the wake of the Oscars, I heard a few people saying that, hey man, I really don't think Anora deserved the Oscar. And I think that every year when a film wins the Oscar, a lot of people come in and say, I don't think it deserved it. So I thought, why not come on this video today and tell you why I think Anora actually deserved the Oscar by telling you the things that I absolutely loved about the film. Every few years, a film comes along that reminds us why cinema matters, why it's more than just spectacle or escape. This year, that film for me was Anora. It's a love letter to chaos, class, and clarity. Mikey Madison, of course, picked up the Oscar for her breathtaking performance as Anora, leaving behind, of course, Demi Moore. And the joke was, Mikey Madison beating Demi Moore is the plot of Substance itself. Now, while this is a very good joke, I do want to come in defense of Mikey Madison's performance, because at the heart of Anora is a performance by her so electric that it borders on dangerous. She doesn't just play Anora, she becomes her. This is not your typical hooker with a heart of gold trope. She's not Candy Floss, or even like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. Here's a woman fighting tooth and nail, one vodka shot at a time, to carve out even a sliver of control in a world that sees her as extremely disposable. Her performance is feisty, yes, but also layered. There's vulnerability under the aggression, a longing under the sarcasm. And in that final act, you know the one, Mikey Madison delivers the kind of raw, messy, unfiltered emotion that the Oscar seems like it was just made for her. Anora feels like a Gen Z remix of Scorsese's greatest hits. There's the kinetic pacing, the street-level grime, the sudden chaotic bursts of violence, but there's also a deeper thread, a moral rot at the heart of opulence. While Scorsese dissected the American dream through gangsters, Sean Baker does it through strippers, oligarchs, and a fake wedding that unravels like a fever dream in Vegas. If Scorsese told stories of men breaking bad, Anora shows a woman trying to survive while being surrounded by bad men. Anora isn't just about sex and chaos. It's a critique, loud and clear, of the elite and their vapid, soulless bubbles. The rich parents aren't caricatures. They're ice-cold metaphors for how detached wealth becomes when it crosses oceans and borders. Contrast that with the sincerity of Anora's friends, the broke yet beautiful messiness of their lives, the simple, dumb, heartfelt way they show up for her, even if it makes no sense. The film tells us poor people are messy, but they're human. Rich people may be composed, but they definitely are Hollywood. What I love most about Anora is the look of Anora itself. It screams 90s indie, think Run Lola Run. It's nostalgic, but not in a self-indulgent way. The visuals feel lived in, even dirty. Like the world of Anora existed long before the camera showed up. And the close-ups. Oh my God, the close-ups. Sean Baker weaponizes the human face. We sit with Anora's pain, her exhaustion, her disbelief. The camera doesn't look away because the world does. And that's the point. I think my favorite characters in Anora are the MVPs of chaotic energy, the henchmen. 3 clowns, each more unqualified than the last. They feel like they wandered off the set of a Coen Brothers movie and walked straight into Anora's bleak reality. But here's the genius. They are hilarious and terrifying at the same time. And their incompetence is what makes them unpredictable. Their banter is absurd, but their actions have real, harrowing consequences. In Anora, names aren't just labels. They're inheritances haunted by myth, history, and irony. Sean Baker gives us Ivan and Igor. names loaded with centuries of symbolism, only to invert their meanings in quietly devastating ways. Let's start with Ivan, Vanya. In folklore, Ivan the Fool is the underestimated hero, naive but noble, pure of heart, always emerging victorious by virtue of his decency. But in Anora, we meet an Ivan who's no such figure. He's a rich, spoilt heir of a Russian oligarch dynasty, a man-child in designer clothing, so shielded by his wealth that he confuses impulsive love for liberation. In truth, this Ivan is closer to Ivan the Terrible, the infamous Tsar whose reign was marked by paranoia, outbursts, and cruelty masked as divine authority. Ivan in Anora may not rule with an iron fist, but his privilege grants him something as dangerous, and that is immunity without awareness. Then there is one of my favorite characters, Igor, the quietest of the three henchmen sent to undo Ivan's Vegas blunder. Historically, Igor of Kiev was a prince, a conqueror, a ruler. In Baker's hands, Igor is none of these things. He's a low-ranking enforcer, barely speaking, but quietly observing. But it is Igor who delivers one of the film's most disquieting lines. When Anora, backed into a corner, asks, "Are you going to rape me?" he responds, "I'm not a rapist." It's a line that lingers, not for its force, but its awkward quietness. In the moment, it almost feels like denial. But as the film progresses, that very moment blooms into something much richer and deeper. And in that very line, Igor stands for not all men. Where the others posture, panic, or perform, Igor slowly begins to see. He recognizes Anora's fear, her exhaustion, her person. And unlike the other henchmen who follow orders with comic ineptitude, Igor begins to withhold his participation in the violence. His shift is eventual, but it's seismic. By reversing the meaning of just these two names, I think Sean Baker creates a darkly poetic irony. Ivan the Terrible is now a pathetic prince. Igor the Great is a morally corrupt bystander. Legacy has curdled into dysfunction. Myth has collapsed into absurdity. But that's only half the story. Igor, who should have been just another enforcer, turns around to write a different legacy. In a narrative where everyone is trying to assert power, he opts for something far more radical, and that is compassion. Because in Baker's world, no one earns the names that they wear. They simply inherit them, like money, power, or silence. And yet, Anora suggests that even within the broken system, there are moments, brief and flickering, where someone chooses differently and changes a life. In this crazy world of men that Anora inhabits, I don't think that the most intense power struggles take place in shouting matches or physical confrontations. It unfolds in glances, silences, and one perfect sentence. The film is quietly but surgically mapping the gendered lines of power. The oligarch mother is not a villain in its traditional sense. She's not monstrous, she's poised. She's elegant. She wears designer clothes. She commands without raising her voice, but her power is unmistakable. She sends 3 men across the ocean to fix a PR disaster. Enter Anora. Brash, unfiltered, raw. She doesn't play the game, she doesn't know the rules, and yet, without trying to, she threatens to undo everything the mother has built. This comes to head in a single unforgettable line. "And yet he married a hooker to shame you." This is not just a personal jab. It's a thesis right there in one sentence. And then, of course, comes the twist. The father laughs. It's not just laughter. It's a crack in the fortress. It tells us 2 things. First, Anora is right. And second, the mother is finally and publicly exposed. Here, Baker stages a battle between 2 kinds of femininity. One refined, elite, and armored by wealth. The other vulnerable, sexualized, and ridiculed, but honest. And in this moment, it is Anora who holds the power. It's a reminder that womanhood in Anora isn't about who is more polite or more powerful. It is about who is more real. In a house built on silence, Anora is chaos and compassion. It is the American dream in a blender. It is about survival, performance, power, and pain. In a year of safe biopics and glossy prestige dramas, Anora dared to be loud, ugly, funny, and real. It isn't a film that just deserves the Oscar. It is the one that demands that we rethink what the word Oscar-worthy even means. And that is why this was my defense for Anora. These are some of the themes that I absolutely loved in the film and that stayed with me, and I would love for you to do the same. If you like this video, please do subscribe to our channel. If you'd like me to do more recommendations of films that you've loved, please send them to me as comments under this video, and we'll be back very soon with another recommendation. See you next time, and don't forget to keep it just too filmy. Just too